Now let's recap the bond market. We have Brian Luke here to talk about record supply coming up, really a big supply coming online next week.
Yeah, that's right. When we recap the week, you want to look at two big stories actually breaking. One is in the Treasury market, a huge amount of supply coming due next week that we learned about this week. The second is with corporate issuance. Now, to get right over to the Treasury supply, we saw bonds selling off amid the news. We're going to have $104 billion coming out next week, the largest amount. And you think about it, who's going to be buying those bonds? One area is the Federal Reserve. Now, I want to show you a little bit about their balance sheet. And when you look at this, they have about $2 trillion in total assets, and that's grown on the week. And when you look at the net purchases of mortgage-backed securities, they actually fell to about $20 billion, and then they actually completed less than half of their $1.25 trillion commitment. So they can actually grow that substantially more over time.
But of course, the story isn't only about what's going on with Treasuries. We're also seeing a big supply coming out in corporate bonds.
Absolutely, absolutely. When you look at the corporate bond market, we've got staggering issuance coming out of there. Lots of corporations selling debt, and investors happy to buy it right now. When we look on the year, we have $640 billion of net issuance in 2009. Now, when you compare that to any other semi-annual period going back 10 years, Bloomberg data doesn't show a larger size than that. So it's a really huge number. You want to focus on the last week. We had about $18 billion in aggregate issuance. Now, that's a small number relative to the trend of this year, but it's still fairly large.
So records for debt issuance for both corporate and government debt. All right, Brian, thanks very much for that.